So let's listen to more of the speech. This is cut 3.
What changed this year was the Democrat Party's relentless push to print and mail out tens of millions of ballots sent to unknown recipients with virtually no safeguards of any kind. This allowed fraud and abuse to occur on a scale never seen before. Using the pandemic as a pretext, Democrat politicians and judges drastically changed election procedures just months and in some cases weeks before the election on the 3rd of November. Very rarely were legislatures involved, and constitutionally they had to be involved. But very, very rarely, and you'll see that as we continue to file our suits, it's constitutionally absolutely incorrect what took place, even from a legal standpoint.
This is his strongest argument, and because it's true. And it is true that they did this, some of the stuff they did. I've said this from the beginning, that his strongest case is his case that what happened in Pennsylvania was unconstitutional. And I have questioned whether the Supreme Court will even hear that case because he needs 3 states. He needs to turn back 3 states to win the election. And it's possible the Supreme Court will say, well, you know, we're not going to hear this because it's not going to change anything. The court does do that. The Supreme Court does do that. But this is true. If you want to look at a good article about this, try the article by Joy Pullman in The Federalist. Joy Pullman really does a deep dive into all the things the Democrats did to cloud the election. And they love doing this. This is why they don't like photo ID. This is why they're constantly claiming that we're suppressing the vote when we just want people to have identification. We want to know that you're voting to vote with. I'll read a little bit of this. Democrats used COVID as an excuse to ram through many long-desired, weaker voting processes to the point that an estimated 80 million Americans voted by mail in fall 2020. Only estimates are available currently. She says that's approximately half of the 2020 presidential election's estimated 160 million votes. In 2016, approximately 24% of votes were cast by mail, according to federal data. That means mail-in voting approximately doubled between 2016 and 2020 as a percent of vote share. It likely more than doubled as a proportion of votes totals due to 2020's higher turnout. By any measure, 2020 saw an enormous expansion of mail-in voting, and that presents a problem for election integrity. Because mail-in necessarily includes much higher error rates and opportunities for fraud than in-person votes. It can't help but do that. Too many more things can go wrong with a mail-in vote than an in-person one, as studies invariably point out. And of course that's true. And the press backing it up all this time, saying, no, mail-in voting is secure, was utter nonsense, gibberish, lies meant to throw everybody off because they want the vote to be more manipulable because the Democrats commit more voter fraud than the Republicans do. And that's why we're hearing testimony like this from this truck driver who says he was moving ballots from one state to another. It's cut 20.
I know I saw ballots with return addresses filled out, thousands of them, thousands, loaded onto my trailer in New York and headed for Pennsylvania. At first, I didn't think it was a big deal. But as things became weirder, I got to thinking and wondered why I was driving complete ballots from New York to Pennsylvania.
So you're going to hear a lot of testimony like this because there was the thing was a mess. We knew it was going to be a mess, and Trump warned it was going to be a mess, and it was chaotic. Trump makes the point in his speech where he says they told us the results wouldn't come in maybe for weeks and months, and suddenly they came in right away, and anybody who questioned them was crazy. Absolutely true, and this is the truth.